Hello, welcome to my presentation on charter schools. I chose charter schools as a topic not only because we have a charter school in our district, but autonomous schools, charter or otherwise, are to play an important part in meeting the Department of Education's priorities for extending the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. The expansion of autonomous schools has been made a priority by the U.S. Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, in the Race to the Top program. Educators need to know about the organizational dynamics that autonomy creates, the people who end up working in these schools, and the academic programs they choose to employ. Simply put, a charter school is a non-religious public school operating under a contract or charter that governs its operations.
The charter school movement in California is growing at a rapid pace. There are more than 900 charters in California, serving more than 365,000 students. But what is a charter school? Charter schools are innovative public schools designed by educators, parents, or civic leaders. They cut through the red tape that binds conventional public schools. In exchange for that freedom, charters are held accountable by their authorizing body, usually a school board, the County Office of Education, or the State Board of Education, and by the parents who choose to send their children to those schools. Charter schools are tuition-free public schools that are open to all who want to enroll. They cannot discriminate based on disability, national origin, age, or gender. Charter schools expand options for parents, students, teachers, and administrators through their unique focus, curriculum, structure, size, environment, and other features that put the needs of students first. They're places where adults work together to build a professional culture, places where teachers and parents have a strong voice in school decisions. To find out more about charter schools or to find a school near you, visit calcharters.org.
The freedom given to charter schools can lead to new programs serving diverse needs, to higher expectations for low-income and minority students, to more school-focused professional norms for teachers and leaders, and to new ways to hire teacher and leader talent in schools.
You also talk about charter schools and many of the families
Yeah.
that you profile
Yeah.
in a very sort of moving, heartbreaking way,
Right.
or are the families who are just hoping against hope that their children will get one of these very few spots at a charter school. Some people may not understand the concept of charter schools. They're public schools, but they're privately run, correct?
Right. And they're an experiment. So and again, back to the parents' point of view, charters were an experiment in the 90s. The idea, what if we ran schools outside the district rules or union contracts, gave them the freedom to do what they wanted to do. So some charters went this way, and they're not doing so well. And the great thing about charters is you can shut them down. Some charters are doing like every other district school, but some have, in my opinion, have broken the sound barrier. It's a revolution because they have gone in and they've popped up all over the country. They've gone and proven that you can go into a neighborhood, even when parents are ill-equipped, like you said, and when there's poverty, and they can educate most of the kids. 90% of those kids often are going to college. It's mind-blowing. It's a revolution.
And many of them start, by the way, 3, 4, 5 grade levels below where they should be.
Yeah, and when there's criticism about, okay, this movie's anti-teacher, this revolution came from teachers. So Michelle Rhee, teacher. Jeffrey Canada, teacher. The guys who started KIP, teachers. The revolution came from people, a certain generation, saying, this is wrong. I'm a teacher and I'm seeing all this going on. I'm going to start my own school because the system is so broken that I have to do it my own way.
Charter schools do not expect to be a good match for every student in the surrounding community, but strive to offer an alternative to conventional schools basically to fill an educational niche. Charter schools rarely adopt novel instructional models. Instead, most of them rely on smaller size, smaller classes, and more time to enable teachers and administrators to individualize and customize learning approaches for their students. Charter schools teachers opt into an organization in which the mission guides all activities and trumps individual preferences. Charter school leaders have room to both rethink the way the school's staff and community engage in leadership activities and to develop new partnerships to help support the school. The combination of anticipated principal turnover in existing charter schools and the need for leaders for new schools means the charter sector will require hundreds, if not thousands, of new school leaders in a relatively short-term future. The charter school movement, however, is not without controversy.
Each morning, Darius Archer is ready and eager to go to classes at King's Collegiate.
Good morning, Darius.
A charter middle school in East Flatbush, New York.
I think the school is very wonderful.
16 years old and in the 7th grade.
Good morning.
Darius struggled with dyslexia, was held back 3 times at his former public school. But now in a charter school, he's thriving.
At my other school, people will most likely laugh at me when I try to read something. But like in this school, they'll help me and push me to keep on reading and that stuff.
Oh, reading seats, guys.
King's Collegiate is one of nearly 5,000 charter schools nationwide. All are publicly funded, but they're privately run. They're not wed to the curriculum established in their district and can tailor learning plans to a student's needs.
Make sure you are tracking your reading.
Their teachers are not protected by the union and are held accountable for their students' progress. For many low-income families living in urban neighborhoods with underperforming public schools,
Morning, Steve.
charters can seem like a hopeful alternative. Sounds like boot camp.
Some people would say it is. We are definitely strict. We have super high expectations of ourselves and our kids, both academically and behaviorally.
Across the river in Jersey City, New Jersey, Create Charter School did not make the grade. After 9 years, its doors will close for good at the end of June.
You're the guy in charge. Why is this charter school closing? I think it's a lack of definition of accountability, a clear and distinct approach or process to evaluating to determine whether or not a school is innovative or is worthy to open or should be closed.
So the rules are too vague, you think, for charter schools?
Absolutely. And they're too subjective.
In a letter to Create's Board of Trustees, the New Jersey Department of Education said poor student performance and failure to provide a structured learning environment were among the reasons the charter was not renewed.
Just because we allow innovation doesn't necessarily guarantee that we're going to get completely positive results.
A Stanford University survey of charter schools in 16 states offers a mixed academic report card. Nearly half showed no difference, and more than 1/3 of the charter schools were actually worse than their public school counterparts. Less than 1 in 5 perform significantly better than traditional public schools.
In the hundreds of schools that are doing a great job, they obviously have cracked the code in terms of producing positive outcomes regardless of the students that they serve.
Charter schools are now the teacher's pet of education, thanks to the Obama administration's Race to the Top program, which has encouraged states to adopt significant education reforms in order to receive additional funding for public schools. In most states, lotteries are held to get into charter school. And it's a thrill when a child gets in, but a huge disappointment when it goes the other way. In New York, 40,000 children are on a waiting list for charter schools. Chancellor Joel Klein believes the competition will improve failing neighborhood schools, and he says teachers must be held accountable.
Those that are great should get extra awards. Those that aren't should either be able to improve or else be removed from the system. And that's what accountability is about.
But Randy Weingarten, a longtime critic of charter schools, president of the American Federation of Teachers, says the real focus should be on the nearly 90% of kids who attend traditional public schools.
I am troubled by the assumption that the only way charter schools can be successful is if they undermine public schools.
Darius Archer believes switching to a charter school was the right move for him. Now with consistent A's and B's, a child who was once failing has his sights set on college. Byron Pitts, CBS News, New York.
Given the varied nature of charter schools, evaluation of their overall impact has been difficult.
Well, charter schools versus public schools. Right now, charter schools are all the rage in Kansas City. When the Kaufman Charter School opens this fall, there will be 28 charter schools in Kansas City. But are charters living up to their promise of a more focused education? Beth Vaughn has some answers.
It wasn't until she left traditional public school that Kimberly Baker made the honor roll.
If the teacher's not teaching you to the best of their abilities and trying to make sure you get it, then you're not gonna succeed.
Enrolled now at Benjamin Banneker, a charter academy her mother says has made all the difference.
Here is different. They have, space, and then they're allowed to ask questions.
A third of all students receiving public education in Kansas City have chosen charter too. But a recent study done by the National Alliance for Public Charter Schools tells a very different story.
The charter spectrum resembles the district spectrum in some regards.
Out of 27 charter schools in Kansas City, only 3 met state standards in math and communications. And in math, on average, Kansas City public school students outperformed 17 charter schools, even though both fell short of state standards.
Different schools offer different things for different kids, but all schools should be offering a pretty clear expectation of academic performance.
But there's a catch, according to Superintendent Marion Brown.
What people aren't realizing is that we're educating the same children,
many of whom are behind.
If anyone could identify the one thing that made one school great versus another school, they'd have the golden ticket, I think, in education right now.
A golden ticket that could answer the newest question in education, charter or public. Beth Vaughn, NBC Action News.
Now, the study recommends that charter schools that chronically do not meet state standards be closed, a decision the state has no control over.
A 2009 study from the Center for Research on Education Outcomes analyzed reading and math scores from charter students in 15 states and the District of Columbia and compared them to virtual twins based on student demographics. This report was one of the first to reliably compare charter school achievement across states. Fully 70% of national enrollment in charter schools was analyzed, and the results are given here. Given the lack of research, an explanation of why some charter schools succeed and others do not is at best speculative. It may be that the successful charter schools use strategies that are proven to be effective: smaller schools, smaller class size, more school time, and greater parent involvement. It is still not known whether the lack of collective bargaining or greater autonomy affect achievement. Thank you for your time, and I hope this presentation has given you a better understanding of charter schools.